Hey gang, and welcome back. These videos are brought to you by Card Conduit, the best place to sell your unused collection fast and easily. 401 Games, Canada's top shop for all your hobby and TCG needs. Dragon Shield, the strongest sleeves for your strongest decks. Moxfield, the easiest way to store and share your deck lists. And Foil Armor, flatten your foils fast. Max wins the die roll and starts us off. He plays a tap Savai Triome and ships it. Metya's turn has him playing Fabled Passage, and passes. Sammy's got a forest, which he uses to cast an Ignoble Hierarch. Arja just plays a tap Path of Ancestry. Max plays Zerdan Catacombs, cracking it to find a land as he passes turn. Metya's got a swamp, and pays 2 for Argul's Bloodfast. Sammy plays an untapped Copperline Gorge, and pays 1 for a Soul Ring. He then hits Metya for 1 when he swings the Ignoble Hierarch at him, and it gets its own Exalted trigger. Arja plays an Exotic Orchard, and then casts 3 visits, passing while searching for a land. Max has a Plains, and casts a Mutable Explorer, which, as it comes in, makes a tap Mutavault token. Matt's got a swamp, and pays 2 for a Bosk Banneret. He then plays out Slagworm Armor, and passes. Sammy starts his turn off with the Reaper, King No More, and he puts the -1/-1 counter onto the Mutable Explorer and the Bosk Banneret. He steals the Mutable as it hits the graveyard, making his own tap Mutavault token, and passing. Arja's got a forest, and brings out Morkant. This has his opponent's Blighting 1, which has Sammy putting the -1/-1 counter onto the Mutable. It unfortunately returns to its fate and heads back to Max's graveyard. Max has a mountain and casts Springleaf Parade, putting 3 into the X and making 3 Shapeshifter tokens. Metya's land for turn is a Tainted Wood, and he then casts Jaws of Defeat. Sammy's turn has him paying 2 for a Channeler Initiate, which comes in with 3 -1/-1 counters. He then passes, having no land to play. Arja drops Llanowar Waste as his land for turn, and then brings out Maralen. This has him blighting his opponents for 1 as Morkant sees the elf come in, and with the Bosk Banneret hitting the graveyard, Sammy steals it. Arja also gets to exile the top 2 cards off of Sammy's library as Maralen comes in. Moving to combat, he then hits Max with Morkant for her embarrassing showing last game. Max pays 1 of each color of mana to bring out Massive Mysteries in his main phase, and then plays a Blood Crypt, taking 2. He follows up with an Explosive Prodigy, which has Vivid 5 as it comes in, and he targets Morkant. With the ability on the stack, Sammy casts Splendid Agony, and puts a counter onto the Prodigy and Morkant. The Prodigy is taken out, but the Vivid trigger still exists, and it takes out Morkant, and since she had a -1/-1 counter, Sammy's then able to steal her. This is Sammy blighting his opponents for 1, and Max then passes. Metya's got a Plains, and pays 2 for a Spider Silk Armor. He just ships it after that. Sammy draws and heads straight to combat. Morkant and the Reaper King No More go at Metya, who just lets them through, and he passes after that. Arja's main phase has a Sylvan Messenger coming in, and he reveals his top 4, and keeps a Devoted Druid. The Messenger coming in also triggers Maralen, and he exiles Sammy's top 2. And Arja picks cast Cathartic Pyre. He picks them to deal damage, and takes out the Reaper, King No More. He then plays a Bloom Tender from hand, exiling Metya's top 2 cards, which just stay in exile since he's already cast a spell from exile with Marelen's ability. He passes after that. Max plays an Overgrown Tomb, taking 2, and casts Jubilation, one of the new Encore elementals from the precon. It enters, and pumps up his team by +2/+2, and gives them trample. He then gives one of the Shapeshifter tokens Myriad, thanks to Massive Hysteria's trigger as he goes to combat. He swings the Mass at Arja, and the tokens go at Sammy. The token triggers Myriad, which has him swinging another 1/1 at Metya and Arja. Arja and Matt block the tokens, and Sammy takes the full hit, while Arja takes the rest. Max then passes, and during his end step, Mathieu activates the Bloodfast, losing 2 and drawing a card. Matt's turn has him bringing in Doran, and the Jaws of Defeat blasts Sammy for 6 as it comes in. Mathieu then casts a Walking Bulwark for free thanks to Doran's reduction, and he has the Jaws trigger hitting Max this time. He passes after that. Sammy draws and brings in Anti-Ool Curse Wretch in his first main phase, but doesn't have much else to do and passes through his phases to the end of turn. Arja starts off by casting an Elvish Archdruid, and as it comes in, exiles Max's top 2. He then plays a Devoted Druid and exiles Max's top 2 again, one of which is an Anointed Procession, which he's then able to cast for free thanks to Maralen, and he goes to combat. He swings his commander at Max, who takes the hit, and Arja passes. On Max's upkeep, Arja casts Elven Ambush, but Max is quick to respond with a Pass to Exile and exiles Maralen. This has Arja going to find a land, and then makes 8 elf tokens, but doesn't get any sweet exiles as they come in. Max then continues his turn by drawing a card, and playing a tapped Spinerock Knoll and hiding away a card. He then cycles a Triome, drawing a card, and goes to combat, giving Jubilation Myriad thanks to Massive Mysteries. Max then swings a token and the mass at Arja, Jubilation at Sammy, and a token at Mathieu. He gets his Myriad trigger, making a Jubilation go in at Arja and Mathieu, who, as they enter, pump his team by +4/+4 and give them trample. Before moving to blocks, Sammy bolts Arja's Elvish Archdruid to make blocking a bit less good for him. Matt then blocks the Shapeshifter token, and we kind of forget to mark down commander damage on Arja unfortunately, but he does take the actual full amount. Max then passes turn. Matt plays a Tanglewood Forest, and then brings out Assault Formation. He follows up with an Armored Armadillo, which is just a fun thing to say, which deals 5 as it comes into Max from the Jaws of Defeat trigger. He then gears up the Armadillo with the Slagworm Armor, and passes. Sammy just draws and has to pass. Arja starts off his turn by recasting Maralen, exiling Max's top 2 as she enters. He then brings out Halo Forager, paying 1 to exile Max's Path to Exile as it enters. He also gets to exile Mathieu's top 2 with the Maralen trigger as it comes in as well. Arja then casts the Path to Exile, and exiles Jubilation on Max's side. Arja then casts the Stolen Bloom Tender from Max, and exiles Max's top 2 as it comes in since it's an elf as well, and he passes after that. Max's turn has him casting Chthonian Nightmare in his first main phase, gaining 3 energy, and he sacrifices a Shapeshifter token to bring back the Explosive Prodigy. As it comes in, he targets Maralen with it. She gets taken out, Max then recasts the Nightmare again after bouncing it to hand as part of the cost, and with the enchantment on the stack, Sammy uses Infernal Grasp to destroy the Prodigy. Max then makes 3 energy as it comes in, and he activates the Mutavault token to become a creature, and promptly sacrifices it. This has him bringing back the Mutable Explorer, and he makes another tap Mutavault token. Max then recasts the Chthonian Nightmare, and responding to the Enter the Battlefield energy gain trigger, Sammy uses Abrupt Decay to blow up the Nightmare. Max then moves to combat, swinging Massive Mystery at Sammy for 4. Sammy decides to block with the Bosk Banneret, and Max then passes. Mathieu's turn has him casting Treebeard Gracious Host, and makes 2 food tokens as it comes in. This has the Jaws of Defeat trigger dealing 6 to Arja, and he then goes to combat. Doran heads at Sammy, who blocks with the Stolen Morcant, and she gets taken out. Mathieu then passes turn. Sammy draws and recasts the Reaper, King No More. He targets the counters on the Stolen Bloom Tender on Arja's side and the Mutable Explorer. Max responds, sacrificing the Explorer to high market before the ability resolves, gaining 1 life, and this has Sammy only able to steal the Bloom Tender as a result. He passes after that. Arja recasts Maralen in his main phase, exiling Mathieu's top 2. He then picks and casts Baator, Kin to All from the stolen cards. Arja then heads to combat, and swings his health tokens and the Halo Forager at Max. Max blocks an elf token, and takes 10 from the unblocked. Arja then cracks his Myriad landscape to find 2 matching basics which come in tapped. He then passes, and having over 20 toughness, gets to untap his creatures as he passes turn. Max just plays a Wooded Foothills for turn, and passes. Mathieu plays his own fetch land with a Windswept Heath, and he casts Mentor of the Meek. He gets a Jaws trigger, dealing 1 to Arja. Going to combat, the Armored Armadillo and Treebeard head at Sammy. Doran's trigger resolves, giving them each +X/+X, where X is the difference between their power and toughness. Before moving to blocks, Sammy then uses Terminate to take out the Armadillo. He then takes 12 from Treebeard. In his second main phase, Mathieu then uses Bloodfast to lose 2 and draw a card. He passes, and during the end step, Sammy has taken more than 7 damage, so Max activates his Spine Rock Knoll, which in turn allows him to cast a Vernal Sovereign, and as it comes in, he gets to make a Voice of Resurgence Elemental token. Sammy taps his Bloom Tender in his main phase to help cast a Necroskitter, and he then brings out an Evolution Sage. He keeps his creatures back as blockers, and just has to pass. Arja plays out a Chomping Changeling, and he destroys the Bulwark as it enters, plus exiles Max's top 2. He follows it up with a Winter Eldrin, and bounces the Elemental token to Max's hand, and exiles Max's next top 2. Arja then casts from exile the Cavalier Flame, and as it enters, discards 2 to draw that many. He then plays a Llanowar Visionary, drawing as it enters, and exiling Mathieu's top 2 this time. Arja then plays a Heritage Druid, exiling Mathieu's next top 2 as well. He then uses the red floating from his Bloom Tender and a colorless to help activate the Cavalier, giving his board haste and +1/+0. He then swings most of his team at Sammy to take him out, and the Forger, Baator, and Maralen at Max. Max decides to nope out with the Fairy's protection, and Sammy is then taken out. Going to the end step, Arja counts up toughness, but is just shy of the 40 toughness needed for the last part of Baator's trigger, but he does get to untap his creatures as he passes turn. Max draws, going straight to combat, and he gives the Vernal Sovereign Myriad with his commander. He swings the Sovereign at Mathieu, and the Mask goes at Arja. The Myriad trigger goes off, making a Vernal Sovereign token attacking Arja. With the Token Sovereign coming in, Max gets to make another Elemental token as well, plus he gets to make an Elemental token from attacking with the original Sovereign. Arja then blocks the Mask with the Cavalier, and the Vernal Sovereign with an Elf token, while Matt cracks his Windswept Heath to find a land. Mathieu then blocks the Vernal Sovereign heading his way with Doran, and before damage, Max sacrifices the Mask to Highmark it to gain a life since it'll get taken out. Max then recasts his Massive Mysteries. He passes, and before leaving the end step, Mathieu uses Argul's Bloodfast once more, losing 2 and drawing a card. Matt's land for turn is a Godless Shrine, losing 2 as it comes in untapped. He then casts a Rasta, and with the Jaws of Defeat trigger targeting Arja on the stack, Mathieu casts Tower Defense to pump it up by a further +0/+5. With his Demise sitting on the stack, Arja flashes in a Selfless Safe-Right, and he exiles Max's top 2 with Maralen. He finds no Swords to Plowshares or any other way to gain life, and sadly gets taken out. Mathieu then moves to combat, swinging Doran and Treebeard and the Mentor at Max. The Doran trigger then pumps his creatures, and Max then moves to blocks, activating his Mutavault to help block as well, but unfortunately after counting it all up, realizes he's done for either way, and Mathieu wins the game. Game review time. So it was great that Max was able to build Massive Mysteries as the other commander from the precon. And if you know anything about me, you know that I love Myriad. It was one of the best mechanics in my Tristani deck, so it was really cool to see in action. Other than that, we got to see Doran again, the Reaper King no more got to steal a bunch of creatures, which seems really fun, and Arja was playing Maralen, which was great. He wasn't as good as his last game because he wasn't able to steal elves from Max's Morkan deck, but otherwise it was still pretty sweet, disrupting top decks, hitting valuable cards, and getting to cast some sweet stuff like the Cavalier Flame and Baator. This video wouldn't be possible without the help from my sponsors, but it definitely wouldn't be possible without the help from you, the viewers, and my patrons. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and to remember, friends are just opponents you haven't eliminated yet.